again, I want to stress like the point you just made that we miss so much. And I'm not the first person to say this. There are other teachers that understand this, other educators that understand. Young people don't learn from people they don't like.
Yeah. Oh, that's.
When we get into this human connection body of work, understanding that young people don't learn from people they don't like.
Yeah.
It's okay for you to connect with them as human beings, right? And tell them a little bit about yourself. Share your story. Let them understand that you're a human being too, who also was 12, 13, 14 years old, right?
Something that you will often hear me say is legacy is not something that you leave for people, is what you leave in them. Again, legacy isn't something that you leave for people, is what you leave in them. And so as we have today's conversation, you'll see why I said that in the beginning. Our special guest today is Marcus Strother, right? Executive Director of Mentor California. But before I kind of read over his bio, I'm going to toss it over to Cam, and then we'll dive into today's conversation.
Hey, what's up, y'all? As you already know, like, love, share, subscribe, and tell us what you like and tell us what you don't like. Because at the end of the day, we do it for y'all. And if you don't tell us, we're going to do whatever, and nobody wants that.
Yes. All right, so today's special guest, Marcus, I want to just read this real quick. I want you guys to take note, and you'll see the value in the conversation as we have this dialogue. Marcus is a graduate of University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, and has earned 2 graduate degrees in education. Marcus is an award-winning educator and has been named Illinois' Public Citizen of the Year, Illinois' 40 Under 40, Sacramento Kings and Walmart Community Playmaker, Golden State Warrior, Impact Warrior, Los Angeles Clippers Community Hero, and in 2025, his organization Mentor California was awarded the Dr. Martin Luther King Community Impact Award by the Sacramento Kings Foundation. I won't tell you where he lives. You can look him up if you want to know where he resides at. But welcome to the L3 Perspective, Marcus.
Welcome, I appreciate it. I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely. So first and foremost, we take our hats off to you for your involvement in education, your involvement in pouring into the next generation. There's a lot of, being from Philly, inner city kid raised by a single mom, to know that there's a man, a leader who is pouring his heart and soul into that next generation speaks volumes. And we just want to give you your flowers and welcome you to the studio.
I appreciate the flowers. I'll take them.
Absolutely.
We always need that, right?
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yes.
So you are our second Impact Warrior that we've had as well.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I didn't even know about that program until, probably about 2 years ago. But now when there's a Solano County always has someone representing. It's pretty, and so it's cool to see. I didn't know how many they had from around California. So that's super cool. So we always like to start taking it way back.
Okay.
What made you get into education?
James Hudson.
Because I always tell people, hats off to teachers, because I got 5 kids. I couldn't do 25.
Totally understand. I get that question often, and it's easy for me to answer. It's a gentleman by the name of James Hudson.
Okay.
He was my English teacher from 8th grade and 9th grade. He actually followed us for a year. And he was just an amazing man. He was the only black man I had in education until I went to UAPB, which of course is the most amazing HBCU. I have to say that out loud. But James Hudson, he poured into me. He loved me. He helped me in ways that, a lot of humans don't always connect. Yeah. Especially when it comes to teachers and students. And it's because of him that I even went to UAPB. Okay. He took me to a concert professor, which Professor McGee, may he rest in peace. He was our choir director, and they were performing at Kankakee, Illinois, at one of our churches. And James Hudson, I'm a vocalist. Okay. So James Hudson took me to the choir show, and at the end of it, went up to meet Professor McGee, and Professor said, "Oh, James, this the boy you've been talking about?" And he said, "Yeah." He said, "Okay, sing something." And I was like, "Right now?"
He's like, "Go."
Right? I was like, "Right now." And so I did, and I don't remember what I sang.
I was gonna say, what did you say?
I don't remember. I don't remember what I sang, but what I do remember is a couple weeks later, I had a scholarship letter in the mail, and off to UAPB I went, and it was and still remains one of the most amazing experiences of my life. But James Hudson told me, in so many words and with a whole lot of love, that I want to do this too. And I had dreams of music and baseball and what that might look like, but at the end of the day, I knew I wanted to do what James Hudson did for me. I wanted to do that for other kids as well.
So with James Hudson, what was the characteristic that stood out to you, as far as you looking at him as that individual?
He cared less about how well I did in English and more about how well I did as a human being.
Oh, that's you, bro.
Gotcha.
Like I knew he wanted me to be a great human. I'll get you to do the English. I'll get you to understand persuasive writing. Like,
Right.
I'm not worried about that. But I want to know you know how to care for people. I want to know you know how to love. And I want you to know that you are loved. And it was
That's a different way.
easy,
Yeah.
For me to say, ooh, I want to do that.
Yeah.
If you could instill that value into other leaders,
Yeah.
I mean, just other humans, but
Yeah.
specifically leaders, like, it's amazing the results that happen.
Yeah.
It's amazing the transformation that happens in the individual and then the people that they're connected to. So,
Yeah, I talk to my kids about that a lot because, like, I grew up in the public school system for the most part. I think I went to private school for like 2 years, and then tuition was just too much. It was out in Oakland, and 13 different schools too, by the way. So a lot of different teachers. And, so I always tell people, is like, I don't know how you remember your 5th grade teacher, but you also probably went to the same school for a few years. But I did not, in my personal opinion, have very good teachers until I probably got to high school. Then there was like 1 or 2 that like really looked at me of less of a problem, and that's something that I talk to my kids about because, like, for instance, my daughter, she has certain struggles with her school, and I say, hey, look, all I ask is you just do your best.
Right.
That's really what I'm not asking you to get straight A's because I was not a straight A student. How would that look? And I understand your frustration because your frustrations were mine as well. And what I need you to do is try, do your best, and be a good person. And I said, and this is something I tell to my other daughter is, I also don't care how good you do in school if you're not a good person.
Come on.
I said, in the world doesn't care about that either. You don't get out of jail because you read good. You don't go to jail because you're a good person. Generally, and so like, it's interesting to hear that because you're the first person I think besides outside of Glenn that shares and has expressed that sentiment.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And I appreciate that you were able to connect to 13 or 12 or 11-year-old you to say, like, I know where you are.
Yeah.
I understand the struggle, daughter. I don't feel like you have to X, Y, and Z because I didn't X,
Correct.
Y, and Z. Sometimes we hold standards for young people that we didn't even have for ourselves, right? And couldn't reach ourselves. And then we act like, why aren't you getting all A's? And you're like, well, you didn't get all A's. Like, why are you acting like that?
right.
Yeah. And she also now has a teacher that's also more supportive. So, we just had she's in an IEP. So we just had her IEP meeting and they were like, let us show you the scores of where she was last year and just where she is now. And it is just like, shoo. And we told her, we're like, that she likes her teacher. Her teacher seems to understand her. She seems to enjoy school more. And so she now tries harder. No longer is it coming home and she's hiding homework. It's coming home and, hey, Dad, I need to finish this or at least do my 20 minutes so I can say I did my 20 minutes. And I was like, my dog.
Yeah.
Come on. And again, I want to stress, like, the point you just made that we miss so much. And I'm not the first person to say this. There are other teachers that understand this, other educators that understand. Young people don't learn from people they don't like.
Yeah. Oh, that's
right.
Clip that.
So I want us to think about, when we get into this human connection body of work, understanding that young people don't learn from people they don't like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay for you to connect with them as human beings.
Yeah.
Right. And tell them a little bit about yourself. Share your story. Let them understand that you're a human being too, who also was 12,
Yeah.
13, 14 years old. Right.
Facts.
So I just appreciate that, because sometimes we push those narratives out, or we say them,
Yeah.
but we don't also like really lift them up in the way that they need to be lifted up, in the sense of young people don't learn from people they don't like.
Yeah, no, that is powerful. It's, you know, there's power in connecting with people. You know, Kim, you were saying something, and it sparked two words: attitude and effort. From your experience of leading people, from your experience being in the education field, and just kind of navigating through life, you know, regarding attitude and effort, what would you say about those two characteristics? Just as if you were either speaking to the younger version of you,
Sure.
and or the people that you lead. Number one, are those two things important to you? And then two, why?
They're definitely important. I'll start by saying this: a teacher, coach, mentor, leader that's not their own best model is really just a hypocrite with a little bit of dictatorship. I'm going to be everything to you that I hope you can be for me. And I think coming in with my attitude being in a great place, while also recognizing that it's okay for me to be in a bad place too, right? And giving that okay to the people that may work with me, people that I get to speak to. Like, I understand you have bad days. We're sitting in this space right now, and we're here today, but part of us isn't here right now. I'm thinking about my grandbaby right now.
Right.
Can't wait to get back to the house and be able to hold him in, you know, in his now 8 days of life, right?
Shout out to the baby.
Shout out to
right.
the grandbaby.
So, I mean, life is happening around us all the time. So I think attitude, you know, also comes with just understanding energy, you know, and recognizing that, you know, there are times where people just have a bad attitude, but sometimes that bad attitude comes with a story. So let me connect and figure out, like, what's going on? You're not mad at me.
Yeah.
Because I know I didn't do anything to you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Especially from an educator's perspective, in leaning in with young people. Like, especially if I meet you for the first time, like, I know you're not mad at me because I don't even know you. Like, we just met.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important when you think about those two pieces, and in, you know, in the leadership realm of this work, like, it's important for us to show up in a way that allows us to, again, love on, whether it be adults or young people.
Yeah.
And that's the other part of it too, right? Like, as much as I love my young people, the thing we get wrong in this work is that we don't recognize that our adults also still need love too. So how do we show up in that way for them? I think is very important.
Yeah. My oldest daughter had a situation probably about 2 or 3 years ago. There was a girl that she just was not getting along with in her class. And she was like, she's telling me she's going to punch me and do this. And I was like, well, first off, you're not a small girl. And I said, so she punch you, do your thing, but don't start it. But I said, but what I would also charge you to is that maybe she got something going on you don't know about. And I said, so I would ask you, maybe try and figure that out. And I said, they might not always want to tell you, but you just never know. I said, especially for a little girl to be angry like that, something's going on. And I was like, I don't care what anybody says. And lo and behold, like, I think a week went by, and, you know, she was like, Dad, like, she got a lot going on at home. Like, her, you know, her parents are divorced. The dad doesn't spend any time with her, and she just like, ain't, you know. And like one day they came out like talking to each other, and I was like, "Is that the girl?" And she's like, "It was." And she's like, "You know, don't be wrong. We're not like gonna be best friends or anything, but." You know, I learned what was going on, and I could tell that, like, she appreciated that.
Come on. And that speaks to what Glenn just said in terms of effort.
Yeah.
Right? Your daughter could have easily just stayed in the attitude space of this isn't going to be a relationship I can build, and I'm not excited about even attempting, right, to build that. But she gave the effort, right? And sometimes that little bit of effort can go a long way to help you really understanding and connecting to somebody. Because, again, everybody has a story.
Right.
Yeah.
Something's going on.
So speaking of stories, you have a lot of kids, children who are in households where, you know, they may not be able to have those conversations, right, with their parents to kind of instill some of those principles and values and get them to see from a wider lens. So as an educator, when you, your team, and your experience of children coming in class, right, or coming into the schools, and how do you, or what tips could you give teachers or educators as far as when there are kids who may not be able to have that firm foundation, and they come in upset, they come in angry, they come in just not listening? What are a few tips that you can give to those educators when it comes to connecting with people?
Sure. A couple things I think about is, first and foremost, if you want to get a story, you got to be willing to give a story.
Yes, that's a big thing.
You got to be vulnerable. It's okay to let young people know who you are. That doesn't mean you're pouring out all of your life, but it does mean you're sharing some of it, right? Because you've gone through some stuff. You too, as the adult in that space, have a story. You have a story that's happening right now. It's okay to share sometimes. So I think this idea of vulnerability, that, you hear a lot more about it, but it's still kind of, I don't know, right? Yeah. I'm not trying to be their friend. And I would always say it's not about friendships. It's about relationships.
Correct.
Those are two totally different things.
Right.
The other piece is, as a teacher, my kids knew the first day of school, I would tell them, listen, it's going to be days you're not going to like me.
And I'm okay with that.
It's okay.
I'm okay with
I'm
that.
cool with that.
And guess what? It's going to be days I'm not going to like you. Right?
Yeah.
But we're going to get through it together. I'm going to come in and I'm going to be okay telling y'all, not today.
Yeah.
I need to get through this writing. I need y'all to work with me. And the reason why is because me and my wife, we just didn't get off to the best start this morning.
Yeah.
I was trying to get my sons off to school, and they tried daddy today.
Right.
I don't need y'all to try me today. Can you help me
My
out?
try jar is empty.
Right? My trying is done for today.
Right.
That's already happened. So I need y'all to help me out. But they also knew they could come in and say, Strother, not today. I'm just not in a good place.
Yeah.
I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. I don't really feel good. Cool. If you want to sit, you need to put your head down. Cool. 48 hours.
Yep. That's what you get.
You get 48 hours to make sure you come and check in with me. If that means you got to stay after school, if that means you got to come in a little bit early, whatever it takes, I'm going to give you this break. I'm fine with that. But 48 hours, we got to get back on track.
Yeah.
And I think that allowed them to recognize that I know you're going through stuff. One of the craziest things we tell young people is you got to leave all that drama at the door. They can't do that.
We don't do that.
You can't do that. Right. As adults, you can't do that. Right. Life is happening every day. And to ask somebody to come in and say, okay, I know right now my grandma's in the hospital, but I'm not going to think about that for the next 7 hours while I'm in this institutional building that's, attempting to give me some academic support.
Yeah, they want me to focus.
But my grandma's in the hospital, and at the end of the day, that's my girl.
Right.
I love her. I don't want her to be hurting. I want her to be okay. Like, you really think a human being, especially one that's 13, 14 years old, who is very early in life and don't have the experiences, are going to be able to say, I'm not going to worry about grandma right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Tell me about this math. Let's get it.
Right.
Let's get these fractions.
Right. No, not going to happen.
No, that's so one of the things that I did, I don't do it anymore, and this was because my mom did it to me, was like when I was upset, she would like tickle me or like love on me, like, you get me that mad. And I obviously then tried to do that with my kids. And at one point my second oldest daughter was like, we were all sitting down having a talk, and I was like, well, what's something that I do that maybe you guys just really don't like that I do? And they said, when I'm upset, I don't want you to tickle me. Like, I don't want you to try and make me laugh. Like, I honestly just want to be left alone. And I said, cool. I will give you 24 hours. I mean, that's just, we got 5 people in the house. So I'll give you 24 hours. If you don't want to talk about something, just say, Dad, I need my 24. But we will have to talk about it. And I said, because you guys need to learn that, like, expressing yourself is going to help you way more in the future, even though it's uncomfortable now. And I said, but I won't touch you no more. I won't do no more tickling. And I can give you 24 hours.
That's beautiful.
But we got to talk about it at some point. Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's okay to let young people and adults own the emotions.
For sure.
Like, how do we teach young people and adults about different emotions if we don't? I'm mad right now. Let me be mad.
For sure.
Right? Let me be upset.
Yeah.
But we definitely need to talk about it. You don't get to sit there. You don't get to live. My wife tells young people, our kids all the time, you can be upset. You can even have a little moment of depression right now if that's where you are, but you don't get to live there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? So we got to figure out how we moving out. How we getting out of there.
Yeah.
Let's talk through that.
Yeah.
So I love that you do that with your daughters. That's beautiful.
So while we're talking about family, I know you have kids of your own. Obviously, you have a grandbaby. You know, what are some of the life principles that you have instilled or currently instilling in your family as far as like values? What are some of the things that are important to you and the family?
Yeah, that's great. We talk about values all the time. I think what's interesting about that question is they probably changed 8 days ago when our grandbaby came into the space, right?
The Strother mottos.
Right? Because now we have to think about what it means to be a dad.
Yeah.
What does it mean to be a Tia or a Thea, right? And uncle, what does that look like, right? Different values, because now I have a nephew, now I have a son, and what does that feel like? And dad, mom, how have you gone through that? But also for us is a value of like grandparent. You know, how are we going to show up for our son and his partner, but also how are we going to show up for our grandbaby, you know, and make life look different. So, you know, family is always part of our value and what we talk about. You know, we just recently lost my father in March, and, you know, we've been struggling through that because he's one of 6 family members that we've lost just this year. My wife just lost her uncle 2 days ago. You know, so we are,
There's a lot.
and it's just a lot, right? So like right now, the idea of family and values is amazing, but then it connects to other values of time, right? Like, how are we spending our time with each other?
For sure.
Right? How are we allowing time to be a commodity and not a thief? Right? And how are we also being okay with telling someone, like, you don't get to waste my time? Right?
Bad, though.
You don't get to waste my time. I will give credit to Marlon Wayans. I heard him on a reel, and you know, I think he said he's 52 and I'm 50, and he said, nobody.
Yeah.
If I got to do this thing by myself, I'm gonna enjoy
Yeah, I remember him
the
saying
rest
that,
of
yeah.
my time,
Yep.
and nobody gets to take that away from me. And I absolutely loved it. When I seen it, I was like, man, if more people could understand the importance and the value of time, right? Like, so that is something that we're consistently trying to, you know, talk to our kids about and manage and helping them understand, like, it's okay when you need time to not do anything. Right? And that's a beautiful way to live. Like, I'm not doing anything today. I'm gonna lay in this bed.
Yep. I'm going to chill.
I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna watch all kind of crazy reels of, you know, people falling off the porch, and I'm just gonna laugh, and I'm gonna be okay. I'm not gonna feel like, man, I'm not being productive today.
Right.
I am.
Yeah.
I'm being productive and giving my mind the mental break that it needs, giving my body the physical break it needs. So, you know, values around time is important for us, and love always is another value that we just are very intentional about. My 20-year-old boys still hug and kiss me every day. Right?
That's awesome.
We say, I love you
Yep.
all the time. I'm proud of you all the time. And there's an importance of, like, the action of love. Bell Hooks, who is, you know, her and James Baldwin, my 2 favorite authors. But Bell Hooks always said love it's action, right?
Yeah.
It's more than just an emotion or, you know, the feeling. So we want our young people, right, that are in our household who are most important and dear to us, which is our 3 kids and now our grandbabies, and also 2 of our kids and their partners. Like, we want them to feel love, but we also know the importance of them hearing it.
Yeah.
You know, and knowing what that means. And for me, I always speak to the idea of Winnie the Pooh. Right, I want to bring Winnie the Pooh joy in every space I come into. And when you think about Winnie the Pooh and all the mental health characteristics that Winnie the Pooh would balance, right? Like, I know you're anxious right now, Piglet, but
Right.
Piglet.
we're gonna be okay. Like today's gonna be all right. We're gonna work through this. Like, what does this feel like? So, I would say for me, kind of breaking it down in the best man Christmas way of 3 values is family, time, and love. Like those are the things that we lean into the most.
Family, time, and love.
Yeah, I'm big with my kids. I don't do love you. So Glenn catches it every once in a while when he's with me because like I drop one of the kids off and they'll be like, I love you, and I'm like, what was that? And they're like, I love you, and I'm like, I love you too. And so because it's like it's short to me personally at least. It just feels like it's a short-sighted way of saying it, and I'm like, I want you to feel that I truly love you. Like so by not cutting off that I. This isn't a quick thing that we do just because we're family. Like this is because like we are family.
So what made that stand out to you, for you to like? Was there something that happened where you was just like, I don't want to just say that to check the box. Like I want you to feel that. Was that inspiring?
I mean, I've never thought about it per se, but I would probably say it was when I got my divorce. Like, I mean, because realistically, me and my ex-wife would just say "love you," and when all came to there, it was unfortunately empty words towards the end of everything. And so now it's like I want there to be, when we talk about time, is now with Net and the kids, like I want them to know that intentionality is behind everything. It's no longer we're just doing things to do them because it looks good or it sounds good. Like I want you to know that I'm listening to every word that you say.
Come on.
And it needs to be intentional, because that's how we that's one of our mottos, is that's how we live our life, intentionality.
I love it. I was just about to say, like, if we could understand the importance of intentionality,
Yeah.
right? And thinking about narratives and the things that we say and how society has taught us to do and say certain things.
Yeah.
I equate your love you to how you doing.
Yeah.
But you keep walking.
Yeah.
Right.
You ain't even heard what the person said.
Yeah.
What if they needed you right now?
Yeah.
Right? So one of the things that our family does, and even with my team, like we don't ask how you doing. We ask, how are you feeling? And then we wait.
Yeah.
Uncomfortable
That's
wait.
what you ask.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes it's an uncomfortable wait because you're just looking at them. And they're like, I'm good.
Yeah.
What's good?
Right.
Tell me more.
Right.
Right? Because we also have very rote responses. And I think if we can be intentional
Yeah.
about our words,
Right.
how we ask things, how we say things, it makes a world of difference.
Yeah.
There's a guy, remember Sanyika?
Yeah.
So the guy that, so we interviewed him. I also had, I've gone on one of his men's retreats. He probably one of the most intense people I've ever met in my life.
Okay.
I mean, this dude will look at you through a computer screen and like into your soul. It doesn't help he's 6'7". So when you're in his presence, he's also just huge. And so, but he always used to ask, "What's your state of being?" And initially you're like, well, like, does that mean how do I feel? Does that mean like what I want to do today? Like what, so it almost forces you to first like evaluate the question and then try and come up with a response that almost doesn't seem like normal because you did not ask me a normal question. And I ask the team a lot, is like, where's your mind at today?
Love that.
Yeah.
It's I'm in the process. I'm currently coaching a couple leaders, and I was observing them for first couple weeks, and before I provided like some feedback, and I would notice that every morning they would just say, when they did do it, they would just say hi to their team or how you doing, and then they'll go right into the task. And so I was sharing with them about the importance of intentionality of like, don't ask your team how they're doing if you don't care about how they're doing.
Come on.
Right. And so to go a step further, don't just ask them how they're doing, ask them how are they doing mentally. Right. Because there's a lot thrown at us, just in life. And so, and then when they respond, listen to their response to see if the proper transition is to go into task or is it to just simply take another 30 seconds to connect.
Come on.
Right. And so I think that's a huge missing link in organizations or in teams. And so, with that said, how have you been able to manage making sure that the people you lead stay connected with the people they are pouring into?
We have a motto at Mentor California: connection before content. We're not going into anything without connecting first. And to your point, if that "how are you feeling" leads into us spending the next 20 minutes talking about how you're feeling and what's going on, then that's what we're going to do, right? And for us, we're in the business of working with young people, right? So we want folks to understand that sometimes the math lesson is not going to happen. Sometimes the after school lesson you put together is not going to happen because young people just need to talk.
Yeah.
Right? Something happened in the neighborhood today. Something's going on with the federal government that they now have interest in and want to talk about, right? So like, how do we lean into that? And for our team, we're really intentional with that as we come together on our Friday meetings. We spend probably 45 minutes of our hour staff meeting just checking in.
For sure.
How's, what's going on with your week? How's your daughter doing? How's your daughters doing? Depending on who we're talking to, and just we'll get the work done.
Right.
We'll get that done. I really care about you as a human being first. Right. And I think the other part of that is really trying to be intentional with teaching my team and also myself how to stop being a human doing and to lean into being a human being. Because we forgot, to your guy's earlier question, what's your state of being? Sometimes we forgot how to just be. How do we just be? Sometimes that's sitting alone. Sometimes that's, checking in and loving on folks. But we're so busy trying to get the stuff done, right? I got to grind. I got to get it knocked out, that we forget how to be a human being. Right. So I just told one of my team members the other day, I said, I need you to take vacation. It's been a minute.
Yeah.
All right, boss. All right, boss man,
sure.
as he likes to call me. Like, I need you to take vacation.
Yeah.
And I will continue to either check in, send a text. I haven't got that request yet.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Where we at?
Where we at?
I need you to take vacation. right? Take the time off, and knowing that it's okay to take the time off and be intentional in that work. So if my team was here, I think they would probably tell you at the end of the day, like, he loves us as humans. The work will get done.
Yeah. I saw an article where they were talking about, the evolution of work. And, it's like before we had smartphones, before we had laptops, like you could leave it. When you left, you left. And that's where like a lot of the mental health pandemic comes from, is that the unplugging. Like, because someone can always message. And I've even like told my team, right? Like I'm an early riser, and I'm usually a lot of times up later than some of the team. But I also forget things a lot. So I'll put stuff in the chat, but I've let all the team know, like, don't feel compelled. None of this needs a direct response in the moment. I'm putting it here for you to get to the next day when you're supposed to get to it. My brain, I'll forget. And I don't like a million notes. And so, but yeah, like there's the mental health pandemic is a lot because we just don't know we can't unplug anymore. Like now we're just accessible at any given time. And, people don't know. People feel guilty to unplug because there's this expectation that's been, like you said, the grind, right? Oh, if you ain't grinding until midnight and waking up at 4 and doing a 3-hour workout and then prepping your meals, you're day trading,
right.
Like then you suck. Like,
right.
It's like, bro.
That part right there, and then putting badges.
Yeah.
For it, right? Let me give you all my credentials.
Right.
Look at how I'm working out and look at how I'm doing, which is great. Like, want you to work out, want you to get that time in, but also be okay with like owning the badge of. I tell people all the time. People be like, "Man, I don't really watch TV. I just ain't got time." Not me. I got time. I'm gonna watch TV. I love some Law and Order.
Dun dun.
Man,
I grew up on Law and Order.
Listen,
SVU, boy.
There's not a lot of people I would fanboy over, but Mariska Hargitay, she been in my life for 20 plus years.
We got
people don't know we got a relationship. Like her and I are close.
Right.
Like I could tell you hairstyles and
She's invited to
mannerisms.
Thanksgiving every year. I'm still waiting for a show.
Man, every episode is a brand new episode. Even when it's season 3, episode 12. This is the first time I've seen it. Like, so people want to credential all the things that make you look like you're being this, great human being, taking care of yourself. And sometimes we don't lean into like, it's okay to, sit down and binge a show. It's okay. I don't want you doing that, 7 days a week.
Correct.
But it's okay to do that. It's okay to say, I'm just going to lay in bed today. Today, I'm not writing that grant.
Yep.
It's not due for 3 weeks.
Right.
I don't need to get it done today. Like, let me take a step back. You know what? Today, I'm going to go on a bike ride and I might get lost.
Right.
I don't know. I'm just going to go. And I'm going to be okay
turn
with
right,
that.
but I'm going to turn left.
I'm just saying.
No, that's good. So you mentioned, I feel like this is a perfect transition. You had mentioned Mentor California.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us a little bit about that? And then how did you get planted and to be a part of it? Yeah,
it's a beautiful space. I love Mentor California. I love Mentor and the work that we are, doing across the country. So we are the California affiliate of Mentor, the national partnership, which is out of Boston, Massachusetts. Our work is really intentional around supporting the mentors and mentoring programs while also leaning into the young people as well. But we want folks to understand that mentoring is a skill, right?
Very much so.
There's some magic that humans have that they can go in with young people and connect and build relationships, and they don't need a whole lot of support. That's not most human beings.
No.
Right? And sometimes those people who have the magic don't recognize that everybody don't have that magic, so we want to be able to help you out. One of my buddies, good friend of mine, Dr. Christopher Emden, wrote many of books. One that people may know, though, is For White Folks That Teach in the Hood, and the rest of y'all, too. And one of the things that he says that I love is that the magic can be taught. If you're willing, to learn and listen and connect with folks and, as we say, go to barbershops or go to a church, and learn beauty salons and learn how people connect. Like, the magic can be taught. So that is what Mentor California's biggest body of work is how do we train mentors? How do we train mentoring programs, youth development organizations, school districts, on how you have, one, a sustainable program that could be here for years, because our young people are going to need you. So how do we make sure you're sustainable? But then how do we also give you the tools to be an amazing mentor and build relationships? And, in school districts, our teachers are everyday mentors. If we can get them to have a mentoring mindset, if we can get them to step in recognizing that young people just want to be loved, young people just want to know that they have at least one caring adult that they can go to at any time. A young person told me one time, if an adult has to schedule me in their calendar, you're not my mentor. If I got to be on your calendar, right? Like, it's one thing to be on your calendar because we set up a date, right? But it also should be okay that if we don't have anything scheduled on Thursday, can I call you?
Yeah.
Right? Like, can I reach out? Can I send you a text? And if the answer is no, then you're not my mentor. So we're trying to think through different ways to be able to help relationship building in terms of community, school districts, mentoring organizations. We're able to provide amazing technical assistance. Our team is absolutely phenomenal. But we also want to do recruitment. So one of the things that, we just leaned into with Governor Newsom and the California Volunteers and Josh Friday, as well as the San Francisco Giants, YMCA of LA, Big Brothers Big Sisters of California, and Improve Your Tomorrow. We just launched in September the California Men's Service Challenge. So our goal is to recruit 10,000 new mentors, coaches, and volunteers by December of 2026.
Okay.
And we want to be able to push those 10,000 mentors out into different opportunities. And especially when we think about men and how we connect, it's hard for us, right? So not only do we want to recruit you, then Mentor California, as well as California Volunteers and a few others, will give you the skills. We'll train you, before you go into those spaces. And on the other end of it is, our young people are some of the best mentors in the world. So if we can help them be better peer mentors, in Oakland, we're working with the school district to be able to do some work in the after school space where we have young people in high school who are not only mentors, but they're helping to teach literacy. So Reading with Relevance is a great partner, and our young people are going in and learning how to actually teach and young people how to read, how to understand, paragraphs and inferencing and what that looks like, while also getting the skills to be a great mentor and connect and build relationships with elementary students. So we have some really great work happening, across the state, from the Sacramento County Office of Education and the work that they are doing to Oakland, to Fresno, San Francisco, Warriors, Clippers, and the Sacramento Kings. Like, we have folks who are invested in the idea of mentoring while also being invested in young people having the mentors that they need.
I love that. So, and then how did you get involved?
Yeah, how did I get involved? That was the last part of your question. So David Shapiro, who is not with Mentor anymore, but he was the CEO of the National Partnership. He has been a dear friend and someone that, has brought me in to do consultant work here and there. My wife and I have had mentoring programs for 25 plus years. So that was a big part of my work back in Kankakee, Illinois, where I was a teacher and high school administrator in the school district that raised me, and started a program, Brother to Brother and Sister Circle, thanks to Dr. Tyrone Bledsoe, who is still my mentor to this day, another Black man who has, leaned into my life and loved me and, taught me how to do this work. Because for a long time, I was a young person that everybody would hire, but nobody would teach me how to do my own thing. It wasn't until Dr. Bledsoe was like, man, I'm going to give you the skills to be able to do this for yourself. And so we've always had mentoring programs, my wife and I, and she has a mentoring program at her school, Valley High, right now with young women. So mentoring has been a part of our work for 20 plus years. And David said, hey, we're really interested in starting an affiliate in California. If this is something that, you might want to leave the school system for, like, come on over. And ended up just kind of thinking about it, talking about it with my wife, and thought, I've given the school system 22 years.
For sure.
And I had to start thinking to myself, like, who gets to be my master?
Yeah.
Because for a long time, the school system was my master. And I was like, that's not really who I want to serve. Who I want to serve is young people.
Yeah.
Right? So I was like, let me step out and then step back in a way where I get to really affect change. Because at the end of the day, when you're working in the school system, you do have a little bit of, locked hands in terms of what you can and cannot do. But coming in, with Mentor California, being able to also then support community programs who are just doing amazing work across the state, like, felt right. So, I was like, all right. And, I put my hat in the ring and was able to kind of help put our board together, and we did a feasibility study, and here I am as the founding executive director of Mentor California. We're 6 years old and loving it.
I love it. Hey, when it feels right, it feels right.
So obviously we talked a lot about the successes that you've had. One of the things that you mentioned when we first did kind of our inquiry was you almost lost your job, and that feeds a lot into this. Can you tell them about that?
Sure. So this was back early 2000s. It was like 2010, 11, somewhere around there. I can't remember the exact year. I was dean of students at the time. And while being dean of students at Kankakee High School, also had mentoring program, Brother to Brother and Sister Circle. And we also have a youth leadership program as well, LEAP, Leaders Empowered to Achieve Anything Possible. So I'm doing that work and, being the dean of students and the principal at the time, she was, trying to figure out her way is the best way that I will say it. And I had just taken about 12 young men from Kankakee to New York for a young men's conference. Got back on a Monday, get back to school, get back to work. And we had about 400 young people that were a part of Brother to Brother, Sister Circle, and LEAP. So only 12 went with me that day. So the rest of them are all back there. And there's about 1,200 students in our high school at the time.
Oh, man.
And get back that Monday morning, get into school, and a couple of the young men that are a part of Brother to Brother come up to me and they're like, why didn't you tell us? And I said, why didn't I tell you what? Why didn't you tell us you were going to be fired? Now, mind you,
Whoa.
at this point, I don't even know that's happening, right? Like, I have no inkling that this is about to occur. And in my, adult way, I was like, go back to class, right? They don't know what
listen to
they're
them
talking
rumors.
about. Yeah, they don't listen to that. Like, everything is great. Go back to class. Well, by lunchtime on that Monday, they had put a petition together because they just knew I was losing my job. And they put a petition together, had over 500 signatures that they wanted me to keep my job. So at this point, it's lunchtime. Principal calls me in and says, Marcus, what's going on? And I said, I don't know. You tell me. The young people seem to think I'm going to be fired.
Yeah.
She slides over my evaluation that she had done that literally said I was an excellent administrator, right? So you have like kind of your three, like
for sure.
not okay,
Right.
Yeah.
okay, excellent, right? Said I was an excellent administrator, but used the phrase on me, yeah, I need you to sign this, but we're going to go another way. I said, what do you mean you're going to go another way?
Oh no.
Yeah, we're gonna be letting you go, just building out the team a different way. Thankfully, my mother and father had instilled enough in me to know that I shouldn't sign this just yet. Like, this doesn't feel right. I'm not exactly sure why, but no, I'm not gonna sign this. And I left. I walked out of the office and was like, I gotta get my mind together. So just kind of finished out the day. Got home, told my wife what was happening. Called and spoke with my father and my mom and just trying to get some ideas, like, how do you think I should handle this? And later that evening, started getting phone calls. Strother, you better get ready. These kids not playing.
Wow.
What? I'm just telling you, they not letting you go. I was like, okay. This is interesting, right? Like, I knew I had good relationships with young people, but
That's a whole different thing.
That's a whole different
That's like a
thing.
movie
I'm
thing.
like, okay,
Starting a movement.
Right?
what's happening,
Denzel
right?
will play
right?
you.
And if we think about it, young people have always been the ones who started movements and understood. And I knew that, I had in every way taught our young people about SNCC and the civil rights movements and how young people stand and what that looks like to protest if that's something you feel like you need to do. But I never thought that it would be needed to save my job.
Yeah.
Get to maybe later that evening, get a call from the principal that says every administrator in the district has to be at Kankakee High School at 6 a.m. Marcus, do you know about this riot that's going to happen? I have no idea what you're talking about. So I get to school the next morning. And in all honesty, there was 20 administrators in the space. Only one, may he rest in peace as well, Greg Merrill, who was another great mentor, taught me a lot about being a school administrator. He was the only one that would talk to me. He was the only one that came and said, are you okay? Are you okay? Like, this feels different, and I'm sure you probably are going through something. So we got to talk for a little bit, but time came, had to go to my supervising position in the hallway, and kids are starting to show up. And as I'm standing in the hallway, if you've ever been in high school, the 1 minute bell usually rings and you get music for that last minute or something to be able to say, like, all right, young people, it's time to go to class.
Yeah.
And the 1 minute bell rings and young people are walking up and they're like, don't worry, Strother, we got you.
It's about to go
It's
down.
about to go down.
About to go down. They don't even understand. And I'm just like, oh my God. Okay, let's see what they're about to do, right? What's this going to look like? Because I had no clue. Bell rings for young people to be in class. Typically, 96, 97% of our young people would go to class. You'd have a few stragglers.
Yeah.
Over 700 young people sit down in the middle of the hallway and say, we're not going to class. Until we know Mr. Strother keeps his job. We're not going to class.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, uh-oh. Okay, here we go. We ended up getting them eventually to go to the auditorium so that the superintendent now has shown up and, like, let's talk to the young people. What do you want? Let's talk. We're going to talk you through this. And I think the adults in the space felt like we will convince them that this will be okay. Mm-hmm. You got to go back to class and,
let's move along.
Let's move along.
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks. Young people refused to go to class. They got a church to put up $1 million of insurance so that they could do a march down the main road of our town to come to school, to sit down in the hallway and say, we're not going to class. We had 5 emergency board meetings. I always say that this kind of was a blessing. My appendix burst 2 days into this.
Oh.
So I had to have emergency surgery and was able to be home.
So you just hanging
and kind of away from everything that was happening. My father, again, may he rest in peace, went to every board meeting and just was like listening. He may have spoken once, if I remember correctly, but it was just listening and watching the young people. And he would call me and he was like, yeah, these young people, they got your back. I don't know what's going to happen, but they got your back. Long story short, principal no longer there. I spent the next 7 years in that space as high school administrator, loving on those young people. And the best thing that came out of it that allowed me to know that this would be the way I would move for the rest of my life. I always was very much about relationships with young people, but one young man was interviewed. I never, for a very long time, I didn't do interviews. I didn't really talk about it. And Dr. Bledsoe was the one who told me, you need to testify. People need to hear that story.
Yeah.
Right? One, because it speaks to who you are, but 2, it speaks to the power of young people.
Yeah.
And one young man was interviewed by a news channel, and they said, why did you do this for Mr. Strother? Like, this is pretty unheard of for young people to refuse to go to class, to keep a dean of students.
Yeah, usually that ain't everyone's most favorite person.
The young man simply said, there was no way we were going to let them take the one person we know loves us away from us.
Wow.
And I knew in that moment, I would always lead with love. I would always love young people first, in terms of them as human beings and caring about their story. And I thought I was doing that, and they showed me that I was. But sometimes, you still were stuck early where you were like, am I doing too much?
Right.
And people would be like, I don't know if you should be hugging the kids. And I don't know if you should this and that. And at that moment, I knew I would always hug my babies. I would always show up for them. I would go to graduations. If need be, I would have them come hang out at the house. Come on, man, let's talk through this. What you got going on?
Yeah.
Right? And I lived and worked for 17 years in the community that raised me. So most of those kids, I knew their parents, their aunts and uncles, their grandparents, so they knew I was invested in them. And I still and will always have the biggest heart for my hometown, Kankakee, and watching Kankakee High School and Kankakee School District thrive. But they are the reason, those young people who are now 29, 30, 31 years old, who are still my wife and I's bonus kids.
Right.
We had one just come visit us recently. We have them up on our walls. We talk to them all the time. One of them has a baby girl she's a little over a year old now. Like, those are all still our babies. I was texting one yesterday trying to potentially get her a job in San Francisco. Right. So it was easy for me from that point forward to know that love will always be the way.
Love will always be the way. I have a question that I want to ask regarding mentorship. Because there's a lot of, I remember when I joined the military for probably the first half of it, there were men and leaders that like I admired, but I never asked them to be my mentor, right? And I know a lot of people struggle with that. Like, there are people that they admire, but they don't ask. And so, what advice would you give to young people and also adults, if they are seeking a mentor, like how could they go about doing that?
A couple different ways that I would lean into. One, I'm going to lift up Mentor California, because you can go to our website.
That was an alley hoop.
Right? So you can go to our website, and we have the Mentoring Connector. It is the largest database of mentoring organizations in the country, right? So we have very high profile organizations that use our database, and you can find mentors or you can become a mentor. So if you're interested in becoming a mentor and you're like, but I don't really know if there's mentoring programs in my area, you can go onto our website, mentorcaliforniayouth.org. You can look in the connector and search within 25 miles. And any organization that has signed up with us will pop up. You can click a button and it'll give you kind of a mini application that will be sent to them that says you're interested in becoming a mentor or on the same platform to find a mentor, right? And we currently have 336 programs that are in our Mentoring Connector in just the state of California. So we have a good number of folks that you can check in with. And when I tell you, from Girls Inc. to Big Brothers Big Sisters to Youth Leadership Institute to Improve Your Tomorrow, there are a number of programs across this area and in different aspects too, right? Like one-to-one, just focused on girls, just focused on boys. Bayview Gaming is another mentoring program in San Francisco who is doing gaming and using that as a tool to be able to build a mentoring relationship. So there's a ton of different ways to be able to get connected, but also recognizing that it's okay for you to just jump out and ask. Like, I'm interested in learning from you, right? But do that with intentionality. I can't tell you how many people have either gotten my number or my email and then I'll ever hear from them again. But then they see me and say, I owe you a phone call. And I go, don't do that. Don't do that. It's okay, right? Like, when you talk about time, like, I'm very honest with people because I also want you to know, like, don't do that, because for me, you're setting yourself up for me to continue to not believe in you.
Yeah.
Because you keep telling me you want this, but then you don't actually step into it, right? So I'm sure from your reactions, you probably had that happen as well. But I think it's important. It's important to know that it's okay to just ask. Like, if this is something that or if you have a way. My wife tells me all the time, she has young people who just hang out. They'll just come over by her office, and she knows. She's like, yeah, they don't know how to ask, but they want it. So sometimes it's just that. I'm just going to show up in your spaces. My son is in barber school right now. I'm like, just go to a barbershop. Sit in a barbershop. One of them barbers is going to say, little man, you need a haircut? Like, what's going on? Like, you've been coming here every day, right? And eventually you can begin to build that relationship. So, I understand it's hard to just jump out and ask, but we also don't want to push people away from. Sometimes it is just that simple. Just ask, and there's a lot of people that want to love on you, for sure.
Appreciate that. You got anything else? I have one last.
No,
question.
I know you got your last question.
Okay. Marcus Strother. There are 3 words: life, love, and leadership. Choose one of those words and just 60 seconds. Speak whatever's on your heart.
I think it's pretty easy to know that I'm going to choose love.
Yeah.
And I'm going to lean into it in a way where I hope people understand that I spoke to Bell Hooks saying that love is an action, and that it's important for us to recognize that there are people listening to this podcast right now. There are people, sitting around the world who have never had someone say, I love you, or I'm proud of you. In many of years, right? And sometimes not at all. And I just want folks to understand that love is going to always be the way in everything that we do. Folks are just looking to be loved. Folks just want to know that somebody cares about them. And I think once we do that and we start allowing people to recognize that I'm seen, and that I matter, exactly who I am and how I am is important, we will begin to see connection on a whole new level. But we have to lean in with love. When I talk about educators, And I talk about this idea of young people don't learn from people they don't like, right? At the end of the day, adults in the same aspect, it's hard for us to teach young people that we don't really care about. So if you're stepping into those spaces, like step into those spaces as an educator, knowing that you want to love on young folks. I have no problem telling people, if you don't really love kids, don't do this work.
Facts.
It's okay, right? Like it's okay. Like, I don't need you to love teaching math.
Right.
I need you to love teaching kids.
Yeah.
Teaching, mentorship, right? This idea of education will never be about giving somebody a skill that's just about academics. It will always be about life. Right. Teachers, sometimes we get in those spaces where or mentors as well. Like, man, you want me to do this and this and this? Yes. Yes, we do. It's part of the work.
Yeah.
It's human connection. So when we think about how we make that happen, it will always and forever be through love.
I appreciate that. Like I started the episode off with saying, legacy is not what you leave people. It's what you pour into them. And so, Marcus, Executive Director of Mentor California, we appreciate the dialogue. We appreciate you leading your community, leading your family, and just doing the work that you and your team are doing. And grateful that our paths crossed. And we were happy to have you on the L3 Perspective.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Y'all have been amazing. This is great.
Yeah.
We like it. So tell people where they can find you.
You can find mentorcaliforniayouth.org. That is our website. Go check us out. You can definitely find me on Instagram. Our Mentor California is our Instagram as well, and our LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn at Marcus L. Strother. But definitely check us out. Look us up, get connected. We just want to make the world be connected in as many ways as possible, whether that be in the classroom or in the community. There are ways for us to love on young people and to love on each other. So come find us. Marcus Strother on Instagram. mentorcaliforniayouth.org is the website.
Love it.
There you go.
Love it. Love it.
Well, as we always say, like, love, share, and subscribe. We appreciate y'all. See y'all later. Peace.
Yes, sir.